The Opie and Anthony Show is back. The Opie and Anthony Show is back. And better than ever. On Sirius XM.
Hey, that wasn't us. I would have talked to Hulk for another half hour easily.
Yeah, that was cool.
They said Hulk Hogan's got to go, and now he's just hanging out on one of our computers eating breakfast.
Doesn't matter. It's the same thing that happened with Bernard Hopkins. It's like, I know Sway
Roland, what happened?
All right, but they're running behind them. We shouldn't have to cut our interview short. I'm not saying you should. Your fault, but we
where's he going next, Sway?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's eating breakfast.
We were all saying we were just getting started. I would love to have him for at least another half hour.
You guys some breakfast.
Yeah, Hulkamania he was hungry.
All right.
His fellow fan.
And then we were trying to figure out the song that Jimmy Hart was involved with when he was in the Gentrys. A song called this one.
You remember this song?
Right, this sounds like a lot of stuff.
Now I go.
That's my favorite Martian.
Well, they're putting a whole bunch of things together.
I love people talking about how great TV used to be. Yeah, I realized some real hits.
You didn't like My Favorite Martian?
No, I don't.
With Bill Bixby?
No.
Bobby Moynihan for the first time on the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hi, Bobby.
How are you?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, man?
Very good, sir.
I got to start with this. Sam keeps saying you're a fan of our show. I don't believe it because we hear it.
I don't believe it.
Because we hear it so many times from people that are, famous or whatever. And then you ask them a few questions and it falls apart and it turns out they're not fans of the show.
Yeah. No, I was. I listened to for...
was?
No, I used to listen to all the time in like the Psycho Mark days. Like that was...
the old NEW.
NEW.
Yeah,
NEW
no, I listened
days.
for many, many years. My first acting job, I got like extra work in some awful Richard Grieco movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the day you guys did the Voyeur Bus.
Oh,
that was a good one. Jimmy got arrested, yeah.
And I sat there, I think, for 9 hours listening to that, and then they were like, all right, you're ready to go. And I didn't go. Like, I went and hid in the stairwell so I could finish listening to the show.
To the show and
then ended up not being in that movie.
Oh,
That
man.
was-
So
They
thanks.
cut you out.
Twice.
That was an
You
amazing.
did get the gig, though.
I was there. I was supposed to be shooting it. It was like one of my first acting jobs.
Wow.
And I just bailed on it
But
because I was listening to
Voyeur
the
Bus
end of
was
the show.
amazing.
Yeah, but that's a real fork of two careers.
Right.
I'm spending the night in jail with Louis Black trying not to shit my pants, and you're on a fucking acting
Right.
job. You definitely won.
My very first one. But I lost it because I just left. I went and hid in the stairwell, listened to the rest of it.
We
and then
made
went
a
home.
lot of mistakes that day. We invited CNN on the bus thinking they would give us a nice positive piece on the whole thing.
Positive piece. Yeah.
And then she jumped out. It was Julie Mose, whatever her name is. And then she jumped out at City Hall to talk to Giuliani like he was going to be like, yeah, the city needs more of this. Oh, we got railroaded. We got killed for that one.
Yeah, that was an awful day.
We didn't get fired, though. We didn't get fired for that one.
Lucky us.
Yeah.
I miss spending the weekend in jail by a few hours. Me and Louis both smoked back then. I've talked about that. Was the worst part of it was there's nowhere to shit because the cells are so filthy and there's bugs and it's just gross and the doors or there's no door in front of the toilet. So you'd be shit in front of 30 fucking Spanish guys just looking at you.
I would have shit. I would have had to.
No, I held it.
My body starts like telling me it's gonna
breaking
come
down.
out. Yeah, no, you start sweating and stuff, and body
That's when you
temperature
shit on
goes
the floor,
down.
make
and-
everyone think you're insane, then no one bothers.
That,
Exactly.
that's a good move right there.
Or they put your face in like a dog and make you clean it.
Or that.
Like you go one of two ways.
So could we get past the awkward part and then we can move on?
You seem so awkward. I wouldn't.
No, we Sam, of course, tells us that you heard us breaking down one of your appearances.
You guys are fucking assholes. I'm not going to come tell you to your face. No. I look at it this way. It's like Rickles. It's like
Oh God!
I listened to it for a long time. I'll tell you the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
The night I said I haven't listened to O&A for a while. Let me go on YouTube to see what's going on. One of the first things that comes up is O&A Drunk Uncle, and I'm like,
What?
What are the chances? And honestly, my first thought was, oh no, do they do something like called Drunk Uncle? And I hadn't seen it. I got terrified. Listened to it, and then was like, oh no, it's the complete opposite.
Oh, no.
It was a tough spot.
Well, yeah, try being there.
Yeah, can you walk us through that? Because there was the 12-12-12 thing, and Seth Meyers brought you out, and that was a really weird place to have us.
I would go
that
as
is a
far as saying-
contextual bit. It's something that you need to do.
Sitting behind a desk.
Sitting behind the desk with like on the news.
With only your face up close on
there
television.
you go, right? Exactly.
I will defend ourselves in a little bit, saying we were aware that was a tough spot, but that's not going to like stop us from just beating the shit out of somebody.
Oh, I wouldn't,
because we would do the same
other way.
We've done the same thing to ourselves.
I'm familiar. Yeah,
because no one was paying attention.
You jumped on my homeless cake. The homeless cake of my life.
There you go. I think you're doing just fine there, Bobby. You're doing all right, buddy.
Who did you go on after?
Oh, good Lord. It was the worst. I went in between Kanye West and Billy Joel.
Oh, jeez.
Did Kanye go too long? I thought they said he went too long.
Not only did he go too long, he was in a kilt and a mask, and the last 45 seconds of it were just him screaming, I believe, the word hate or something, just screaming something. Just screaming, and then
bright
threw
lights
the mic down, and then they're like, well, here comes this fat dude in a costume.
Right. With bright lights just hitting the crowd.
It was nuts.
He was backlit. I thought he was awful at that.
I don't like Kanye West.
I just didn't like the stage performance.
I don't get Kanye West at all, but whatever. Oof.
Went over too long. Like, who are you to go over when McCartney is waiting to go on?
That's what I mean. He usually puts on a good show, but it's just in the context of it, you have a sea of very, very rich people from New Jersey who are there to literally only see Bon Jovi. And Chris Christie's in the audience. And then in the fourth or fifth hour of it after Kanye.
Did they love the audience love him? It didn't look to us like they loved him.
No, I would go as far as saying no. Might not have been his crowd. They were definitely waiting for Billy Joel more than anything.
Yeah.
2 days before it happened, I got a thing from SNL saying, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I in my mind, I was like, oh, they asked me to do something. Like, this is very nice.
Sure.
Like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then very slowly found out, it was Madison Square Garden, and then was like, oh, no, that's terrifying. Yeah. And then when they said you're going to get dressed before you go, like in the costume before, I was like, well, that seems like a silly idea. I feel like I should just go and get dressed there like an adult. And that was when I knew it was going to be the weirdest night ever, was getting in a car dressed in the costume and like Bill Clinton standing there, and you're like, oh, hi. Hello.
No.
I have a fake drink in my hand. Like it was pretty rough. And then I think Adam Sandler went up and did a bit, and it didn't go over as well because this is like a Sandy relief.
Right.
And they're there to see the most amazing bands in the world. They don't want the 10-minute comedy bit in between. So once Sandler didn't do so hot, and then Chris Rock went out and like did amazing for Chris Rock. I mean, like, even for that, like it was like he's phenomenal. Yeah. But they weren't having that either.
So you must have been happy. I'm always rooting when I have to go on for every other funny person to die a slow death, because then I can't do any worse.
Right.
That's what I always root for.
Oh no, I thought like I could definitely do worse,
and correctly so.
Right before I went on, Chris Rock was like, "Hey man, don't do it." He's like, hey, I got an idea. Don't go out there. He was like, they're going to tear you apart. He's like, is Lauren here? Like, let me talk to Lauren. I'll see if I can get you out of it. And I was like, this is going to be the worst. And he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to hate it. And I was like, it was almost the best thing that could have happened, because 5 seconds before I went out, I literally was like, well, I'm going to see how fast I can get through this, because they did not want it. And I walked out. Kanye West finished, and I walked out to a sea of people just standing up to go get beers. Oof. Like most of them going, no clue, could have cared less who I was, waiting for Billy Joel to come out, and I just tried to get through it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
If you look in the wide shot, you see me going like this with my finger, hurry up, make the monitor, make the thing go quicker.
Can I ask you about that too? You had seen the sketch before? Had you done that one before, or how much time did you have to learn it and all that stuff?
We had a day, and like at SNL especially, like a day turns into the 2 hours before you're supposed to do it. So I mean, like we had a day, and I was like, oh, I've done this a bunch of times on the show. People seem to enjoy it on there.
Sure.
And wrote a bunch of stuff, and then kind of didn't think about it. And then once we got there and started putting the stuff on the teleprompter, I was like, well, we should have done like half of this. Like this is like,
couldn't you?
I was taking it like a weekend update thing. I was like 7 pages, a good solid 4.5 minutes.
Wow.
I should have done a minute and a half and stage dived.
Right.
Is there a moment?
Good for you.
On SNL, they never break that fourth wall. Like I was always like it's, as a comic, I would want to just start acknowledging what happened. Like, all right, I know he went too long, and you guys are not liking me. Like, are you guys just trained to not break that wall and just address what's going on?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, like, I think part of it, too, is, like, if in any way you improvise or if in any way, like, you do something that wasn't supposed to be done, like you add 10 or 15 seconds, especially if it gets a laugh, you add 10 or 15 seconds on, and then at the end of the show, someone's sketch gets cut.
Right.
Because it's all live and timed out. So they don't let you do that as much.
Yeah.
Even if it's killing, you would think they would go, all right, we got to let this happen.
I mean, so sometimes, but then you just answer to the person who's like the end of the night when you're like your buddy who works for 72 hours.
But shouldn't they understand? Because they understand,
It's happened
comedy and all
before,
that. Yeah.
It happens. And they always have backups. Like that's why, like, every once in a while at the very last thing of the night will be a commercial that you've seen already a couple times. And it's just because they either didn't have enough time or they had too much time, so they just throw something.
Right. Fill it up. Yeah.
So what happens when you walked off? The minute you walked off, what are you thinking?
Before I walked off, I was like, well, that was the worst feeling I've ever had.
And then we rub it.
I know.
That's I think I'm getting too old.
There was a moment where they were like, okay, now you have to take pictures right afterwards. And I'm still in the costume, and I'm like, this feels weird. Like, this is like a benefit for people. Like, and I felt weird taking pictures in the costume.
Right.
Kind of did a couple, and then I went in what was now Billy Joel's dressing room because he was on stage. They were like, literally, we don't have anyone changing their costume, so you can just go in this room, which was the room that Billy Joel was in, changed in Billy Joel's dressing room, immediately ran down the stairs out of Madison Square Garden. I lived a couple blocks away at the time. And I was halfway home walking when somebody saw me and was like, hey, weren't you? I just saw you in Madison Square Garden. And I was like, 10 minutes later, I'm walking home with my bag. And then I got a phone call that was like, your limo's here to pick you up and take you home. I was like, I'm already
cowering in my home.
I'm already halfway home.
You wanted to just get out of there.
I've never fled a building quicker. It was the weirdest.
You didn't want to stick around and meet the celebrities.
At one point, I was standing backstage. Katie Holmes just looked at me, and I said, hi. And she went, what are you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was,
what are you?
I'm a 37-year-old man in a costume in front of all the most amazing musicians of our time.
What is the costume? I don't remember the costume. Like, how is it a costume?
Just meaning like a wig and a jacket, like anything, yeah. Anything not this.
Anything not you.
Yeah. It was... That was quite an evening.
Our buddy's on SNL this weekend, Louis C.K.
Yeah, he's the best.
Oh, he's hosting.
He's hosting second time. That's going to be great.
He's been working on the monologue, too. His monologue's going to be really funny, yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just kind of the 20, 30 year out of nowhere. Victory,
Just a completely brilliant dude, too. When he came, I was lucky enough to do a sketch with him last time when he was there, and it was one of my favorite things I've ever done on the show.
You got one this time.
Huh? No, I got nothing. I was too worried about coming here.
I got nothing.
That's another thing too. Is like also like normally no offense to any other hosts, but like you're like I got this when it's Louis C.K. You have to pitch an idea to. You're like boy.
Oh yeah.
I've been worried about that pitch for a week now. Going like how do you tell the
that's kind of a little
men in the world like. I have this idea where you're a gay fireman. Like, you feel like an asshole.
How do you guys? What if you just give a bad pitch to a sketch you know is good? Like, and is it just shot, or can you ever repitch it?
Sometimes that happens. I had a particularly like. There's a lot of fake pitching going on. There's a lot of like. You lie so that your joke gets a laugh on Wednesday when it matters. Like, because if you go, hey, I have this idea, and they laugh at it. Then on Wednesday, when we start to read the sketch, they're like, "Oh, this is that idea." So then they don't laugh as much, or you've already burned that joke,
right?
So a lot of pitching is completely fake. But I've had the thing where I've made a fake pitch, going like, well, "I'll just say this, and hopefully this will get a laugh, and then I can move on."
Right.
And then the host is like, "That's amazing," and then you're stuck writing thing that. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
But what you mean the fake pitch? So they pitch it before what, on the Tuesday?
Like tonight, I'll go in after this. At some point, I'll go in and start thinking of ideas or start writing, and then at some point tonight, Louis will come in to Lauren's office, and we'll all sit. We all get called in and sit there, and every cast member and writer pitches their idea, but it's not necessarily what they're really doing.
That's got to be.
But if everyone knows that, why would they waste the time?
It's a lot of tradition,
right?
It's a lot of that.
Lauren's into tradition, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I've heard that over the years.
Louis said something interesting. I was talking to him about this, and I'm like, "Is it awkward when guys pitch stuff to you?" And he said, "No, not at all." He said some guys like will get bothered if you don't use their idea, and he goes, other guys are more task oriented. I thought it was so smart that he said task oriented. Like some guys just realize, or a writer will realize, like, okay, the task is to get a funny sketch. This didn't hit, but
and the thing is, you're so beaten into every week, essentially auditioning for the same show that you're already on. Every week, it's like. Especially with somebody like Louis C.K. Like, we have a lot of people on the cast right now. There's, I think it's the biggest cast in history. It's like 17 people.
Wow.
So it's harder to get stuff on now than it was in my first year almost. But then, when it's somebody like Louis C.K. where you're like, oh, I want to do something with this guy, like, you get, like, you start getting into that territory where you start asking people, like, oh, what are you writing? Like, oh, game show? Okay, well, I'm not going to write a game show because then the math and, like, you start to try and figure out what you should be doing is going, I got this funny idea. Like, what do you think? But that's why I love Louis, because when he came in, me and a buddy, Neil Casey had this idea. He's a comedy writer. Had this idea for a sketch, and we pitched it to him, and Louis was like, that's great, except I think I want to play Bobby's part. And I was just like, he's like, I never get to play like characters. Like, he's like, it's always me just being me. And we did this sketch where he was like a hotel clerk.
Oh, right.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was his idea to play the part of the hotel clerk. Because when you're on the show, you're just trying to write for yourself to get on. And I was like, that's brilliant. And it got on because he played that part.
Yeah,
like, it wouldn't have, and he helped us so much with it, and like, it was a blast. It was one of the easiest and funnest things I've ever done on the show.
Is there a sketch that you wanted to get on badly with a host that you know would have been good that just didn't make it for whatever reason?
Oh, of course. What's one
host or something you want to do that just didn't happen?
I did one recently. This stupid character named Janet. I'm like an older lady who's going through menopause and just keeps meeting celebrities and trying to take them home with her to sleep with them. She's very self-deprecating, and it's kind of, they're awful and weird. I did one with Drake, and it did really well, and I was super happy with it. I felt like it was where I wanted it to be. And then the night of the show, I got like, it was the first time it had ever happened. I had like 101 fever. I got bad stomach virus.
Wow. Oh, you were sick.
Yeah, and I've never had that happen during a live show before. So I had written two things that had gotten in that week. And
oh, damn it.
So it was like a particularly like heavy week for me. And then I also was doing Chris Christie, which I'd only done once before, and I'm awful at impressions. I don't like doing impressions.
What do you do, original characters more?
Yeah, I try to, or whatever fat person is in the news. I'll come in. I'm like, hey, I've been working on a pendulette, and they're like, you're Wendy the Snapple lady. I'm like, okay. It's a lot of I get put in a lot of shapes. But I did Chris Christie, and you can see it on camera. Like, I start sweating, and then that was it. Like, I didn't come back till the last sketch of the night because I was just throwing up.
Oh, you were
passed out the entire time. And
food poisoning, or
I just had some crazy stomach virus, and just for like 3 or 4 days was just. I was a heavy smoker. I haven't had a cigarette in 3 months since then because that night, like, I was so like.
The guy, I think I'm dying.
I was, and like the best was going up to Lauren, and he's in between dress and air, and he's like, so how you feeling? And I'm like, I'm like 37 years old. My chin starts to quiver. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Wow.
And he just looked at me very blankly and went, but how are you feeling? And just kind of repeated it again. And I was like, I have to do this. There's no ifs and there's no one else who's going to play Chris Christie. So it was.
Did he pull it off?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't gone back and watched that one.
We could do that right now if you'd like.
I was waiting for you guys. I was waiting to just come in and hear you guys playing the old drunk uncle stuff. I was like,
you just gave us an hour of radio for tomorrow.
Oh man,
not gonna do that again.
Have you met anybody that you've done on a show like Christie? And
yeah, I met him. He was super nice. Super nice guy.
Had he seen? what you've done?
Yeah, he loved it.
did?
I think the day after, the only thing he said was like, I loved it. I just wish you would have let me come say live from New York. And then he was there a couple weeks later. He did Update. He came on and did the show. He's been very nice. He sent a nice letter to my family, which was very wonderful.
Probably audited them because they live in New Jersey.
Right.
It was
Don't do that again.
Nice. He was a nice
cool.
guy.
That's cool.
Guy Fieri, I played him on the show, and he.
Yes.
Who played Did you do the hairdresser thing?
We didn't. Yeah,
We didn't
I think
do
it was
that.
an off week. Every time something happens with someone that I play on the show, it's always like on a week off.
The Guy Fieri thing was hilarious. Yeah.
Was it extreme?
As always.
yeah.
As always. He sent me a lot of texts. They're spelled the way that he talks. Like,
Yes, of course.
that was
they are.
off the hook. Like, he's the greatest.
DA Hook. Oh, no.
Guy Fieri, I expect nothing
love
less.
it.
He does our show a lot. We like him.
So, yeah, when you do it with the news, it has to be topical, right? Like, so he had that hairdresser fight. You guys are off. You can't do it in 2 weeks?
You can, but then you look at like Daily Show and all like late night and all those shows, like they've had a week and a half of doing those jokes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll do it and then
Falls flat.
either that or like they've already gotten all the.
That is hilarious.
Look at this Guy Fieri.
That looks
for
just
real.
like it.
Isn't that amazing?
Jesus Christ, it looks just like him.
Yeah, but your eyes are open really wide. Oh yeah, guy does that. What's the worst bomb you've had? Like in like one on the show that you're like, oh god, I'm on live on the air and this is not going.
Wow, I don't know.
'Cause that's the part that, sorry to interrupt you, that's the part that amazes me about you guys, is the way you can hold it together in a sketch. And doing stand-up, it's almost easier because you can break it and go like, all right, and then try to get a laugh. But when you're committed to a fucking sketch, man, that's
You're
frightening.
stuck. You have
That's
nowhere-
frightening.
you have nowhere to go.
Update's kind of the only time when you can get away with that
Right.
stuff. If you're,
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough that I've never been in a sketch where something went wrong. Like I was in one with Kevin Hart. It was like the last sketch of the night, and we were running out of time, and they just started pulling cue cards out.
Oh my
And Kevin Hart, you can kind of see his head going like with him, like because you're just reading cue cards, like that's it. Like you're essentially reading on live television,
Right.
Sometimes for the first time. Like I've been in some sketches where I've come out and there's brand new stuff there because a writer didn't get to you in time, like didn't get to you before, so you're just reading brand new things and it's
Live
it's
on the
terrifying. But we did one sketch with the Jude Law show where I was in a cop costume getting ready to go on, and they were like, we're not doing that, we're doing a different sketch. And it was like you have 30 seconds to change into like this white old like a 70s style white suit, a turban, a beard. And then you can see it on air, like as I sit down in the chair, they're still putting the walls up for the sketch. And like we just made it, but you can see the guy's fingers holding it up the whole time because they didn't have time to secure it. And then you're like, that. I remember that being like, oh, I'm on Saturday Night Live. Like this could go wrong at any second. And then the second it was over was the good nights. I went to change, and inside my suit it said Jay Belushi, and I was like,
Wow.
like that's the craziest thing in the world.
That was his.
Yeah, it was either his or Jim Belushi as well.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I never considered.
No, I actually found a
was
picture
Jim's.
upstairs with him in that.
Why didn't you
with
just take it
John
home?
in that suit.
I would have taken it home.
I would have if I had known better now. If I had known, if I had been there longer. If that was like my first or second year. If I was there now, it would have mysteriously just
Fired for pilfering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
How long
be
you been there?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
How many years?
6 now.
We're up to 6 already. Wow.
Yeah.
What do you like to do on the off time? Anything fun?
Yeah, I mean, when the show is on, that's pretty much all I do. I mean, other
Yeah, I
that
could only
and working.
imagine.
Yeah.
It's like a whole week.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
it's
for
like
a school
the whole
year,
week.
you're just worrying about trying to get stuff on.
But you get summers off.
Yeah,
it's like teaching.
summer's
You're a teacher.
off.
That's
And
kind
they
of
now I've been there long enough that I get to do other stuff.
Are they still
also,
doing
so.
those long hours too, where you're there just 20 hours at a time?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, you kind of make your own hours a little bit, but yeah, if it's like a week like this where you're like, I want to get something on, like, because it's Louis C.K., you know, like you're really excited. We've been off for a while, like, you know, like, yeah, I'll probably go in tonight for pitch, and then I'll go back tomorrow at like 1. Depending on how the night goes, I'll get home. You know, I could either go home early, which is like 3, or go home at 10 in the morning, shower, and come back for the read through an hour later.
You do that where you just get no sleep at all?
I've done that. Yeah. Not every week. I mean, in the beginning, it was more of like, I'm going to stay up all night because I'm on Saturday Night Live. now it's like I'm 37. I'm kind of tired. Like,
I'm just going to go home.
Yeah, Jonah Hill's hosting. He's going to get all my parts, so I'm just going to go home. There are weeks like that.
Oh, do you hate that when the host looks like you a little bit or has the same body type?
Oh, the second I saw, and it's funny if you go watch, I'm not in the Jonah Hill show. Like,
oh wow,
like I'm only in a couple pre-tapes, but yeah, that happens a lot.
You got to pitch every sketch you write has to have 2 fat guys in it.
Well, yeah.
No, offense, but,
no, trust me, I get it.
What?
Wow, man,
you're doing this. I saw this too. This Chosen. The FX sitcom. Is that a comedy or is it more of a drama? It's a cartoon where you play a gay white gangster rapper.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
What is the voice of
like
him?
Archer. This character I used to do a long time ago. Kind of just started doing it for this. He's just a real loud, abrasive gay gentleman who does not care about what he says to anybody, and he's very secure with his own life. He just got out of jail.
For what?
He gets set up by Method Man's character for a bunch of crimes that he did not commit. He was in a rap group. Chosen was in a rap group with Method Man's character, Michael Pena's character, and Hannibal Buress. We're in a rap group as kids, and then I start to take more of the spotlight, and Method Man doesn't like it, so he sets me up for a couple crimes. I go to jail for 15 years and then get out and try and start my rap career over.
And he's still in it? What, in flashbacks?
No, he comes back. Yeah, he comes back into my life because I'm trying to break into the rap career that I never had, and he's already like a superstar now.
Oh, okay. After he fucked you over.
Yeah, you know. The
Amazing.
plot of every cartoon.
Yeah. Remember Gangsta Fag? There was a guy called himself Gangsta Fag who was supposed to be a gay gangster rapper, and then we actually liked his stuff, but then we heard that he wasn't legit, or
that was a character, right?
I think so. There's a couple guys.
Yeah. This was like really like hardcore brutal.
Oh, he just rapped about fucking guys in the ass, but it was really quite good.
Who turned us on to that? Rogan, was it? Back in the
I want to say it was Joe Rogan. Wow.
I think it might have been, yeah.
I don't remember.
Very good.
You doing films?
A couple here and there, yeah. I've been doing a lot of voiceover work and stuff. I just did a couple Pixar movies, and then...
Oh, boy.
Which ones?
I was in Monsters University.
You were?
Yeah.
Who'd you play?
It's coming out.
I've seen the movie a million times already.
The bad guy's little sidekick. I'm named Chet. I'm like a little one-eyed crab.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How do you know what voice
I'm
to
even
do?
chubby in cartoons.
Do you pitch voices and they go like, nah, that's not what he's supposed to sound like? Or do you get one shot at it?
Yeah, no, for this one, especially, it was, I think Dan Scanlon, the director, saw me in a sketch on SNL and was like, I like that voice. And then kind of, I came in and did a couple different things, and then we kind of settled on one thing, and then they changed the character a little bit to, you know, like he had big overbite, so it was like kind of a lisp and stuff. Like, yeah, just making it up as you go.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That's everyone loves doing those. Everyone you talk to that's done a Pixar is like, yeah.
It's not a bad
You
gig,
walk in, you read some shit.
It's the best. The complex itself is absolutely insane. Yeah.
Right.
They said
really?
Eddie Murphy is the master of those. Like they said, no one is better at doing like the fucking animated.
Yeah.
Like he's just got it down to a science.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best job you could have.
Dress how you want.
Do it, yeah.
Hold your paper, read the lines.
Do it 1,000
easy.
times, and then they
Sounds
decide
easy.
which one they want to use. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, it's up to them. Trying to find your character to show these guys, but
Oh, I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a clip.
Have you watched this 1,000 times?
Oh God, Monsters University is a go-to. Oh, we just got the Frozen DVD. I've already seen that 10 times.
I couldn't have.
We've had it a week.
Having kids and having to do
Over and over and over again.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Are you in Frozen too?
No, I auditioned for it, didn't get it.
Yeah, Josh Gad did a great job.
Yeah, he's the best.
At the part you auditioned for?
Yeah.
Oh, you went for the Josh Gad part?
Yeah.
How
He's
close
great.
did you get?
I don't know. Who knows?
But I mean, like, did you get called back or?
Yeah, I got brought in to sing and then do that, but he's a phenomenal.
He killed it.
Singer.
He killed it in Frozen.
He's a really nice dude.
Yeah, oh, we love him.
Yeah, you're kind of like sing as a hobby thing.
When I was a kid, I did theater and stuff like that.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
done it in forever. And now I was a heavy smoker for a long time, so probably not.
brings it down a couple
leave
of
the singing
octaves.
to Josh Gad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you gotten called back for that you came really close to and just didn't get, and you've seen it and you're like, I could have done that?
I remember getting a script for a movie and going like, oh, this would be nice to do a movie with a tiger. And then, like, going in and getting called back and then never hearing anything again and then hearing, like, The Hangover. Well, that seems like I swear
to God, I thought, who are you going to be in Life of Pi?
The hippo, yeah.
That's good.
That's the first thing I thought of. Oh, okay.
The Hangover.
Yeah, I was like, and then, like, realizing I was like, well, it's probably going to be a shitty movie anyway.
It's going to bomb.
Yeah. Like,
no one's going to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
but nothing other than that, like, where I was just like, oh, well, there was even a slight remote chance I might have been in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that. Every once in a while, I'll see a movie come out. Like I auditioned for this De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer film that they did, which I heard was an atrocity.
What was that one?
The one where Luc Besson directed it. It was the mob one where they're in Switzerland. It was some other dumb fucking
Family
mob movie.
or something.
Oh, just idiocy. But I gave it a fairly heinous audition.
Yeah.
Terrible job. I'm not a mafia hitman. I'm not even a radio guy or comic. Why the fuck would I play a mafia hitman? You freeze.
I called in to play an FBI agent for something, and I remember being like, you've seen my picture, right? Like, you've seen, like, this is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, I always think of guys that should be, like, they say, well, you never know. They just go in there and do it because you never know what they're looking for. That's true, but most mafia hitmen I've seen look a similar way. It's like, I've never seen a lot of, like, Christopher Walken, all right, but, you know, he was walking by the time he did True Romance. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
You did a movie with a good buddy of mine. One of my best friends, Eugene Cordero, was in Furry Vengeance.
You know, I never saw, who did he play?
I think he was with you. He's like one of your construction buddies, isn't it? Filipino guy.
Oh, I loved him. Yes, Patrice loved him, too. He was, he played, what's his real, Eugene?
Eugene Cordero, yeah.
Okay, yes, I do remember him. He played, he wasn't the supervisor or the guy that worked with, for the people wrecking the area. There was one guy who was kind of like a fucking yes man for the company that was ruining the area, and then there was Eugene. I saw a picture of him recently.
You never watched that movie?
Never, no.
No.
No. The only thing I ever watched from that movie was an outtake I have of Patrice. We were doing this thing where he had to go down the bottom of, he had to walk down the bottom of a hill, and that dummy slipped and fucking like ran into the camera at the bottom of the hill. And I never laughed harder than anybody in my life, and so I asked them to replay it for me on the monitor. And as they did, I filmed it with my iPhone. I think I showed you guys once. I want to post that.
That's hilarious.
But just watching him fucking just, like, he didn't fall on his face, but he just kind of ran into the camera. Right. And you can see Brooke Shields laughing at him. It was really great. So I've never seen the movie.
Bobby's got to go. Not because us, I swear.
Yeah, sure.
Travis, tell him. Tell him, Travis.
Yeah, Roland just told me that Bobby's got to go.
Yeah, Roland.
Yeah, but Roland just wraps things up because Roland feels like it.
Roland gets hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we promoting? We're promoting Saturday Night Live with our pal Louis C.K. this weekend.
Yes.
What else you got going on, Bobby?
Sam Smith is on it, doing music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm chosen right now on, it'll be on tonight on FX at 10:30.
Very cool.
10:30.
We'll have to check that out.
And you're Bibby Moynihan on Instagram.
Correct.
And on Twitter. Why Bibby? I guess Bobby was taken.
It was, but I was, weirdly enough, everyone's called me Bibby for a long time, so that was just a nickname. It stuck.
Why Bibby?
Me and Eugene Cordero and another buddy, when we were first doing comedy, went on some talk show, and they said, "And you are Bobby?" And I don't know why. I said, "No, it's Bibby." And they said, "Oh, it's Bobby." I was like, "It's a common mistake," and just for some reason, it's stuck.
Whoops.
Right on.
All right, well, Bibby, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Bibby.
Really nice to meet you finally, Bobby.
No sweat. I can't wait to listen to you guys tear me apart on the
No,
I'm joking. It was an honor to be here.
Come
guys.
back and see us, all right?
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Bobby Moynihan, everyone.
Excuse me. Opie and Anthony will be back in a moment. They have food in their mouths right now. On Sirius XM.